You are witnessing in front of you a very, 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 very warm gentleman. I specifically not use the word hot because of the obvious allusions to me being extremely conceited, though I am quite the dapper individual. What's up? It's been more than a month. It's been crazy, as life tends to be. Ay, ay, ay. Of course, there's been a lot of conversation over the course of the past month, most of which has been over on the official coverkillernation Facebook page, which has talked about a couple of things that we've actually talked about here on the channel here on some streams. There's going to be an official announcement that's going to be coming soon that is directly in correlation to our future. This is going to be a short stream. I really didn't plan on, well, I originally did plan on streaming today, but I had a couple of jobs to do today. And let me tell you something, whenever they say heat index of over 100, stay inside, that's no joke. I caked myself in protection. Doesn't mean that I wore like a giant condom, although that'd be hysterical. However, SPF 50 is amazing. But I recovered from the flu. I actually never had the flu. I thought that maybe I would develop it. I had a really, really bad upper respiratory infection that then turned into bronchitis. Wait a second, I had that flip. Bronchitis that turned into an upper respiratory infection. And then, to make things even better, because my life is awesome, what the hell is it? The sinus, upper sinus type thing, to the point where the entire left side of my face was in pain that I had never felt well, I had felt once before. I hadn't felt this pain until the month prior to, or since the month prior of my wisdom teeth being extracted back in 2012. Back then it was to the point where I was specifically buying mouthwash that had alcohol in it. That way the alcohol would numb and dull the pain. They don't really make that anymore. So painkillers have been my friend, which is awesome. But yes, it has been great. It has been just terrific. That was nearly 3 weeks of my life. Now, on the plus side, that's the first time I have ever been I've been horrifically sick like that in I don't know, a year and a half. Most of the time, whenever I get sick these days, if I'm intermittently not feeling well, it lasts maybe a couple of days. A lot of it is more so based around the fact that I have cysts in my knees, the fact that my back is screwed up, the fact that there's just a lot going on. I had surgery in late June before I got sick. You guys may not have noticed very well, or it may have just seemed like maybe a speck on your screen or an anomaly, but I had a small growth on the top part of my head, and it was originally just sort of like this tiny little thing, and it had grown a little bit bigger over the course of the past 1 to 2 years, so I started to get a bit concerned about it. So I went down to see a dermatologist, and they immediately prepped me and removed it. I say it's surgery because technically it is. It's like a form of plastic surgery, I guess. There's no plastic involved. They shot the fucker with a laser. Let's just put it straight. They shot the fucker with a laser, and it's gone now. It would have been really funny if I had streamed during that time frame, because I had this big, very obvious bandage on the top of my head, which made it look like I either got struck by lightning or got sucker punched directly on the top part of my dome piece, or decided among headbanging that I'm just going to bang my head into a brick wall. Static coming in strong to start things off with a 10. I have to I have to remember what these things are. £10 donation. I have to remember everything again. Miss G, you fabulous son of a bitch. So here's a big old donation because I bought a Steam game and didn't want it. Send you my request in Discord. I think you're going to love it. Very, very good. Very, very good. Outpatient surgery, I guess. Sure, that sounds accurate. Basically, let's make it real simple. I went down there. My intention was for it just to be looked at and assessed, and then have a date set. Because I had been told by other patients of that very same place that's what happens. They take a look at it. They maybe take a little sample of it. Maybe do a little biopsy, and then you come back and they remove it. Well, this doctor was not fucking around. He looked at this thing and was like, I have no fucking clue what that is. Let's take it off. And I'm just like, sure, why not? Let's do it. So, that was a positive. The negative was that Friday was whenever I started my 3-week illness. So, fun! Really? Huh. Well, I was trolled by a lot of people then, so, good for them for trolling me, I guess. Good on them for trolling me, I guess. Cheers to that. I'll take it. But yeah, I've kept myself busy. I've kept myself busy over the course of the past couple of weeks. You would not have wanted me recording videos because unless you really, really like the sound of because that was 3 weeks of my life. Yeah. That was, I've done that before in videos, and I have essentially, did everything in my power to prevent that from happening, but of course it happened from time to time, but yeah. Am I trying to recover from a cancer treatment? No. As a matter of fact, not at all. Not at all. I got a call back from them a week afterward. They said that it's not, it wasn't cancer, it's not a tumor, nothing like that. They still are not totally sure what it was, but considering it's not cancerous, it shouldn't grow back. I do have a little dip up here. That was, I guess, the main harvest point of it. That's going to take a little bit of time to heal. Whatever, that's fine, so long as it doesn't come back. I really don't care. If one part of my forehead for a while is a bit lighter or has a different tint of skin color to it than the rest of it, while that heals up and regains all of its healthy cells and stuff, the thing's gone. I'm happy as fuck about that. That's all I really care about. But yeah, fun thing for you. Fun thing for a lot of you is one of the things that I have done. We have a Static Syndrome song, by the way, to listen to. So I'm going to have to hop on the Discord here on the old computer, which I actually have to type out more of the word now because I've been on Discogs logging my collection. Something that I never did, and something that, while I was ill, I was like, I really want to do something. And so I just decided to look up a couple of things that I had just gotten, and was like, I wonder how much this stuff is worth. Or, what's cool about this. And then I just ended up logging everything that I have here. I still have a long way to go. There is stuff over in Studio 1.0 that I'm trying, still, to get moved over here, but placement of things is a little wonky. So, yeah, I have all that to still take care of, but that will happen in times. And then I thought to myself, you know what, I wonder if I still have this folder right here. I wondered if I still had this. Because back in 2004 and 2005, you could still tell that I still have some of this. This is just going to be a long process. I guess that on average this thing lasts 6 weeks. but I felt well enough over the past couple to get back to doing jobs, get back to making a little bit of cash and going out and stuff like that. Because whenever I was sick, I was doing basically nothing. I was worthless for 2 weeks, and I hated every second of it. Like, the first week I was sick was the week of SGDQ, and you would think, oh, well, if you're ill, then you can just stay in and watch runs all day. No, I was staying inside, but I did not even want to do that. Like, even that was just, ugh. I felt so pointless. Like, I didn't want to die. So this is Aikido from Static Syndrome that we're going to be hearing. This is a big old donation because it's a big old song. It's nearly 12 minutes in length. So thanks, Static, for that. I appreciate that. Yeah, who cares? I'm healthy. What's my Discogs? I'm pretty sure it's just Coverkiller or CoverkillernNation. I forget. I don't even remember. I just keep it up on the screen. Let me actually look that up. It is just CoverkillernNation. I should never doubt myself. What the fuck was that? What in the hell is going on? What's that? Oh, you got me a drink? Oh, and a what? Oh, thank you.
I want something for myself, but I didn't want to be a bucket.
I got food. Even though I just ate like an hour ago. Cool. She's helping me get fat. She's gonna kill me on Thanksgiving and eat me as the turkey dinner. Dude, you're cool. So much stuff has happened over the course of the past month, like behind the scenes. So much stuff has happened behind the scenes over the course of the past month, like since we last streamed back on my birthday, back on the 12th. Good stuff, a lot of kind of stuff. It's cool because I was actually running on soda. Hi, Rampant, how you doing? How's everybody doing? How are you guys doing? How are you guys all doing, man? This is just so wild. But anyway, I wondered if I had specifically these pieces of paper. Because this house, and you might not be able to see it very well with the camera, you see it says the 2005 order. This, by the way, so far is really, really freaking good, Static. I'm really liking this. Back in 2004 and 2005, for those of you who don't follow the Facebook group, Century Media used to offer a catalog of all the things that they had available. Now, this was not restrained to just what they had on their label or what they had in their little network of labels that they were kind of like the head of at that point, because at that point, Century Media also worked with and owned, I guess, or Nuclear Blast was a part of Century Media. They also had a couple of others that they were very, very close to the point where they got their own section in this booklet. We had Olympic Recordings, we have Mayhem, Fierce, DCA, Cruz del Sur, Gaia Disc, a lot of different little subsections. But then, what the real highlight ended up becoming is that they had a ton of other labels that they did distribution for. So they had their products, their albums available and for sale. So this book was thick. We're talking like this thick easily. It looked like essentially the heavy metal version of like a J.C. Penney catalog or a Sears catalog. If you're old enough to remember whenever your parents or perhaps you yourself would get catalogs from a store, usually you would get them around Christmas time. They were like gift guide catalogs. And then you would be able to order stuff directly from the catalog, so you could send the money and stuff and whatever, send your order in. Or you'd place the order while in the store and do it that way. So imagine a heavy metal version of that. It was paradise. So for the 2 years that my best friend and I were getting this catalog, we mutually made lists of all the stuff that we wanted. His, if I remember, tended to be a little bit smaller, mostly because he was very dead set on a lot of his tastes. And I respect him for that. I love him to death for that. Because back then, one of his big things is that if a band had a female vocalist, and they specified this, they gave you a little description of every single album in this catalog, and there were a ton of them. There were a ton. If it said female vocals, it went on his list. Like, that was his thing. A bit of a hornball him, but it's all good. Dude is a very, very happy man. Heart and hand? No, I'm not. So, mine, on the other hand, were vast. And I don't necessarily mean that to mean that my list is better or worse or whatever, but there was a ton. There was a ton of motherfucking stuff. Set request, says Mango. Evil Toad, $2. Roses are red, violets are blue, I'm flipping broke. That's not actual poetry, it doesn't rhyme. Doesn't matter. I like it. I like that poetry, I thought it was nice. Mango wants to hear Burn by the Alkaline Trio. Get that on here afterward. This is not a remix, this is a brand new Static Syndrome original. Big time original. Oh, there's an echo already? Wow. You might be picking up some interference because my air conditioner is on like super high. Because it's fucking hot as shit. It is super freaking hot. I met Sleeping with Sirens. They're a bunch of whiner babies. Dom, for some strange reason, I feel like that is not that strange of a thing. It's okay though, I only plan on being on for a very, very short stretch. I mainly wanted to come on, say hello to you guys, see how things were going. Tomorrow, I'm thinking will be a stream, but that may get interrupted. That may get interrupted. So here is my sort of like conundrum, I suppose. And we'll get back to the list momentarily. The conundrum is that I kind of want to go down and scope out a record shop tomorrow. It's actually just a CD warehouse, but who's counting these days? Mostly because I constructed this whole entire list and even included the stuff from 2004. In fact, let's see here. You can actually see this list in its entirety. I thought about coming on here and reading the whole list to you, but then I realized, wow, that would probably be a really, really boring stream. And the fact that we have 19 people watching right now, it would go down to like 2. But you can now go and scope out the list at that link that I just posted in the chat. I also posted it over on the Facebook page. I need to maybe tweet that out Maybe toss it in Discord for my one post of the month, you know. Just a fun thing if y'all wanted to see what my mind was like in 2005 as far as what I wanted to buy. Now remember, if there are albums that you know of from those years that aren't on that list, there's a good chance that they weren't available. There's a good chance that they weren't available through the distros and everything like that, because this had a lot of stuff. You know, Century Media, with their distribution service at one point, had a ton of stuff. But that does not necessarily mean that they had absolutely everything. Absolutely did not have everything. But hey, they had some things, and that's what really mattered. And the final total, by the way, and this is just amazing to me. The final total for the list in 2005 was 1,010 unique items that I wanted. That's no doubles. No doubles whatsoever. Kiara Sonata with $5 saying, nice Slaughter shirt. Hey, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Got this actually from a Metalhead box, if I remember correctly. Yes, in fact, I can guarantee you, this is from a Metalhead box. I still 100% fully support that product, despite the fact that I'm no longer doing unboxings for them or anything like that. That's okay. I still love the piss out of Melissa and the whole entire Metalhead box crew. They're doing a great job, and it's just so cool to see that product become like almost like a Metalhead's household name, despite the fact that I know there's still a lot of people out there that have no idea of its existence. Anyway, I then cross-referenced everything from 2004, and I learned something about myself. One, I added a lot of stuff to the 2005 list that was on the 2004 list. And I guess rightfully so, because back then I was a poor motherfucker. Not to swear just to swear, but I was poor. Mostly because I was in college at the time, and yeah, whenever you're in college, most of your money is either going to college or going to booze, and you don't have much of it to begin with. So not a lot of the albums were bought. So anyway, there was a difference in titles by only 169, which 69, and also Evolution 169, nice Nevermore reference, you noob. But it was kind of neat to see the different things that were left off of the 2005 list as opposed to the 2004, and there are a couple that come to mind big time. For example, and I think that a lot of these, like a lot of what caused this overlap, was the fact that the albums were no longer available, or the bands were no longer available. Maru, no, this was not an Insomnia idea. I had everything in front of me. I just needed to transcribe it from a paper list to on the computer, and I kind of just did that whenever I had a couple of spare moments. Like if I was in here and Faith was in here and we were watching TV, I'd grab one of the papers and I'd type it out. It was actually it looks like it would take a long time, but I would say in total I probably spent about maybe 6 or 7 hours typing the list, and that was, again, like I would be very, very serious and go and do like 6 pages within like a half an hour, and then I would take some time and not do anything, etc. But some of the names that I noticed were absent from the 2005 list that were on the 2004 list was a lot of Lacrimosa. If you don't know Lacrimosa, they're kind of they're considered new classical, I guess, is one of the official titles that they have over on Discogs, which is also consequently what you get whenever you type in Elland, their name. I had a lot of Lacrimosa albums, basically everything from their inception all the way up to 2004. Marillion, I had virtually every Marillion album that they offered, which at that point was a lot, because remember, Marillion got their start in the late 1970s and really hit their peak in the 80s. There was every album that was available from them, with the lone exception of This Strange Engine, which I already had because I happened to find it at a store. It's amazing how little I have seen Marillion and any Fish-related projects. Goku with the $2 saying, more than Bones by Demon Hunter. We need to get into Alkaline Trio with Burn up next. Those two bands were very, very big ones that I remember that were not on the 2005. Kiara wants to hear some Bathory, wants to hear Under the Roots. We'll definitely get to that. Right now we have some Alkaline Trio, then we're going to get into some Demon Hunter and some Bathory. Hey, Evil Toad, y'all want to hear something, dog? I know that there was another big band, or another, like, very, very large, like, saturated list. The Flower Kings. Prague! There was me. You know me. You know how much I like Prague. There was a difference between 04 and 05 whenever it came to the amount of prog that was on the list, and it was mostly because of the absence of some of these bigger names. To cross-reference, the only Dream Theater that I think was available... No, that's not true at all. That isn't true at all. At that point, I had already gotten a number of Dream Theater albums up to that point, because the only 3 Dream Theater albums that were on that list at that time were Awake, When Day and Dream Unite, and Falling Into Infinity, which out of those 3, I believe the only one that I still don't possess, but again, I have to double check this, I can no longer go just to CD books and look, because I did that thing last year whenever we were preparing for the CD sale, where I took everything out of the books, put it back in the cases, and now the books are obsolete. You know, I'm not using that anymore. So that actually kind of worked against me. I should have done this first and then, done the other thing next. But let's face it, I'm not the smartest of guys. So there you go. Close to 2,000 Snowball Scrabbles on Last FM. You mean you haven't hit it already? I figured you'd be at like 5,000, my dude. The zeitgeist demands more support. I have heard the new Sacred Reich material. I like what I'm hearing. I think that's going to be pretty good. Man, there's only one Sacred Reich album on the list. I'm trying to remember even which one it is. I'm not sure why I keep going to my paper list whenever I have this on, typed, where I can utilize things like, find. Of course, it probably would help if I could spell. Heal. Heal was the only album on the list for Sacred Reich. I already had The American Way, so I didn't need... Something is very wet on me, and it's not me. This ain't bad. I didn't listen to a lot of Alkaline Trio. And now I kind of regret that a little bit. This is actually pretty solid stuff. Because remember, I listen to Billy Talent, and love the fuck out of Billy Talent. They're great. They're amazing. I think they're a great band. Anyway. More artists putting politics over artistry like Machine Head. Here's the thing. We need a little bit of that anger. We need a little bit of that angst in the music these days. It's something I've been talking about for a couple years. And of course, the problem is, here's the thing. Fistula. I don't think I've heard of them. I feel like I might be wrong in saying that, but the old brain is just saying nope. More Than Bones by Demon Hunter coming up next. I just had a really scary thought. Imagine if Century Media, who no longer has all of their, they don't have the distro thing going on for them anymore. If you go to their website, I believe they have like a total of 200 products available. And that's, I think, spread across shirts. You know, it's spread across everything, essentially. Oh, excuse me. What the hell is this? We'll get to that. Middle Fury with the 5. Wanted to hear some Cutlass, Hearts of the Innocent. Thank you very much, dude. I appreciate that. What if they were still making, what if Century Media still had all of those links and all of that distribution power, and they were still producing these books in 2019? And let's say it's either you or I. Let's say that a list was made every single year for 15 years. Like it's a 15-year tradition. Imagine how many titles would be on that list. Just think about it for a minute. Because think of it this way. First of all, you have to think about the stuff that you're going to get that you've maybe never heard before, the stuff that you've always been interested in, but you own nothing. You own nothing by that band. Now imagine the bands that you do own stuff by, and you want to complete the collections. And then add in just the randoms. The stuff that you look at the description and you say to yourself, you know what? You sold me. I want to try that out. I want to hear that. Now, of course, it'd be a lot different in 2019. It'd be a lot different in 2019 because of the fact that we now have the internet. We now have various resources where we can listen to all the things on these lists and try to, try and see what the heck is going on. I see that we have an alert. We're going to check that out as I am speaking. That's from Waterblanc. And his comment with his $3.84 is, "This is all for now, lest my solvent ass becomes an insolvent ass. Disharmonia Mundi, morgue of centuries, and is stranded with blackout season." A little bit of melodic death metal. And then Stranded, which I actually don't believe I know much of. Dom S with Dom S made it sound like I said dumbass. With $1.99 saying, "What's rockin', dude?" Hey, not much, man. Decided to hit the stream start button. Oh. Very, very important thing whenever you're getting your fish sandwich from McDonald's, no tartar sauce. Ugh. McDonald's tartar sauce is garbage. No, I did not see your request, Evil Toad. Bliss. Let me know what it is. Tell me. I wish to know. Especially considering it may or may not be next, all depending. Roses are red, violets are blue. I'm fucking broke. I love it. I also understand that feeling completely. And Waterblanc is like, you know what? Someone called me out for no zeitgeist, so zeitgeist. Screw you, here's the zeitgeist. Not a fan of fish at all. I really, really like... I'm a big fish guy. Goku, you saw Rob Zombie and Marilyn Manson last Friday. It was a blast. Bro, I can tell you from seeing both of them, they both put on a really great stage show. Now, I'm kind of happy to hear that you enjoyed Manson, because from what I have seen and heard over the past year, it seemed like he's been having a rough time. Like, if I'm just being honest, it seems like he's been having a really rough time. So, I'm happy to see, or happy to hear, that you at least enjoyed yourself enough where you felt that he put on a good performance, as opposed to it being, underwhelming or sad or whatever it may be. So that does make me happy, because, listen, whatever your feelings might be about Manson, the guy is still a performer, and he really hasn't done anything that's been, absurdly fucked up. Everyone thinks he's done things that are absurdly fucked up because, Columbine. So, I mean, the dude deserves to continue to have a career, I guess, despite the fact that he's, at this point, relatively irrelevant. If we're talking purely from a musical standpoint, the thing that made him special is no longer a part of him. He can still be incredibly unique, and he's definitely not what you would consider... He's not... I don't want to say he's not radio friendly, but he's not what you hear on the radio these days. And that's even including all of that old classic stuff that you hear. You maybe will hear The Beautiful People every once in a while, maybe Sweet Dreams on a throwback weekend on the radio. That's if you even listen to the radio, which I don't do very often. But his newer material, at least over here, at least from my personal experience, I've heard none of it. So they apparently don't feel like he has the power to really drive these days. Here's Under the Runes.
One of the exciting things.
Under the Runes by Bathory, while I concoct a way to just completely and totally destroy Grammarly, which is the newest ad cancer over on YouTube. I should check on you on October the 5th, Evil Toad, because Insomnium and In Mourning are both releasing a new album, and you might just die. Well, if you die, you won't be able to listen to them. That doesn't seem like a really smart thing. Live, listen, enjoy, love. Live life, love, lurk, lapel. All those great fun words. Dancing Dwarf Alert from Maru. Y'all heard me say it's going to be a shorter stream, and you're like, no it's not. I'm just going to have to eat in front of you guys. I'm going to have to be rude. $20 from Maru saying, we have Adam works with the Brothers Thirst, theatrical prog, she states as a comment. Number 2, Soul Healer, don't shoot the dancing dwarf. Did Soul Healers sell their soul for entering the black hole of synth pop? She says. I guess we will find out. Number 3, Jess by the Lake with Under the Red Light Shine. Who is this newer is my question. Needless to say, I really love Jess's solo album. It's so chilling. Nice. And thank you very much. You just play mechanical animals on a banjo? That's pretty impressive, Big Nick, I gotta say. I think that's a good usage for $10. I always envisioned that if I won the lottery, like one of those really, really big, $1 billion Powerballs. Okay? We're not talking like I won $5. We're talking like if I won a $1 billion Powerball. I just thought to myself I would spend like $2 million of those dollars going around and like just leaving random money for hobos and like homeless people. But I then realized that by doing that, I then would have to move. I would have to move. Because Static, despite, what he says, saying don't ever give hobos money sounds really, really offensive. There are unfortunately folks out there that do live up to the reputation. They literally live down to the stereotype where you could give them literally $5,000 and they would either spend it all on drugs or alcohol, or maybe they would get a couple of meals. It would be gone quickly is kind of the point. They wouldn't utilize it for maybe trying to find a home or like something or other, whatever it might be. And also, they have a code. Homeless folks have a code. And if it is determined, if they're able to find out where you live and you have been a big giver, or if you have been kind to them, they in fact have one even for very, very nice women, very, very giving and caring women. And it's actually a woman that has a cat by her. So apparently cat ladies frequently like to give money to hobos. What? But yeah, it's unfortunately like it's a catch-22, but at the same time, how do you help them? Like, that's the problem. Like, how do you help them? Obviously, our government or all governments aren't really going to do much, and not all. It's again one of those situations where the stereotype unfortunately applies to all based off it being a stereotype, but in reality it does not apply to all, considering some really do want out of that situation and want to be part of the world, whereas others, I can't believe I'm saying this, but there are some out there that prefer that lifestyle for whatever reason. I'm not quite sure why. I don't really get it. Oh, that's fair, Static. There you go, Big Nick. You can only help them if they want to be helped. Aside from that, here's the thing, I guess. I have to think about this. If I have $1 billion and I give, $2 million of it to random, like, homeless or, whatever, what do I care what they do with it? What do I care? Like, what do I honestly care about what they do with it? That's kind of that, they call that the Messiah complex. Where you want to help somebody and you want them to help themselves in the way that you want, that you're hoping is being utilized for it. And that's just not how that works. And that's just not how that works at all. You can't say, hey, okay, this money I'm about to give you, you have to use this on this. Or, it's not like you could say that and then all of us, if they don't use it for that reason, the money just disappears. You know what I mean? Like, it's not like you've programmed the money where if you notice that they are about to use it to purchase crack cocaine or are going to use it in order to buy, a blowjob from a hooker, all of a sudden the money just like disintegrates. That's not how that works. Once it leaves your hand and gets into theirs, they're going to use that for whatever. Hell, for some reason, they might use that to buy a gun and kill you. And you'd have no real way of knowing why. Hearts of the Innocent from Cutlass coming up next. This one recommended from Metal Fury 515. Thank you very much. And we also have another one, Key to the Gate by our good old boy Uncle Varg and Burzum. from Kiara. Thank you very much. My appreciation and love is as big as my pants. Now, there are people who are just pure panhandlers that actually have money, and some of them, in fact, have jobs. But they just, for a couple of hours, go to a corner and they'll beg. They'll look real, they'll make themselves up to look real down and out and not in good situations. And whenever they're done, they will walk over a couple of blocks, get in a car, and they'll leave. That is unfortunately not just a Family Guy joke, or whatever that was on. I think that was a Family Guy joke. As an example, there's a guy around town here. There's a guy around here recently. He hadn't been here before, and then all of a sudden he shows up. And he's begging at this like real random corner. Really dangerous corner. I'm fairly certain that he just has his car parked at the bar literally right across the way. And whenever he's done, he just gets in and leaves. I heard about the Vector drama going down recently. Yeah. David's a piece of shit. Like a big one. But again, it opens up a whole new debate. It opens up a whole new debate about whether or not you should just stop listening to Vector's music and stuff like that. And my response to that's pretty simple. There's other members of Vector. They probably get a little something. Probably not much, but they probably do get a little something from your purchase. Now, yeah, David will too. I know that's what you want to avoid. But I just don't see the point in blacklisting a band from your life because of that. It seems really silly. Well, as an atheist, I do. I just got... Actually, no, it's been a while. I say I just got this like last month, but this was actually, God, I want to say late last year. Whenever round 5 of the CD sale came out, whenever the heck that was, pretty sure that was late 2018, I got a copy of Unquestionable Presence by Atheist, one of the remakes that they had put out that had like the demo sessions and the studio stuff, just chock full of extra bonuses. I think it was put out by, it might have been Century Media, in fact, that put it out. I don't recall the label that put that out offhand. All That Remains with Flub Love by Evil Toad. Mortician with Necro Cannibal by Waterblanc, who is continuing to defy himself because I guess he loves himself? I don't know. Okay, so that takes care of that. We need to get over into Blanky Blanc. Oh, I just got a Google Hangout request with Lindsay Clark, who I've never heard of. I want to be your princess. Write to me and let's live my dream together. Her dream. I hope Lindsay realizes I won't be treating her like a princess. I wouldn't treat her like David, but wouldn't be treating her like a princess. Because Lindsay doesn't exist. Lindsay's a robot. Nah, a post-ironic Samaritan? I don't mind one bit. This Armin Mundi. I was going to say, I need to get to your original requests. We have a Morgue of Centuries to start things off from this Armina Mundi. Name I have not heard in a while. North Fury has a birthday coming up. Uh-oh. Everybody say happy early birthday to Metal Fury 515 in chat, please. Send him birthday love. Send him birthday love. If I've seen any of the shows AEW has put out so far, I've seen all of them. Especially considering Fyter Fest and Fight for the Fallen were both free. Now, Fight for the Fallen I had to watch after the fact because I had a prior engagement whenever the show was going on live. But it was an excellent show. Fyter Fest had its kinks, so a little bit of like kink in the armor a bit, but all in all turned out pretty good as well. I am super stoked for All Out. I am really, really excited for that. Can't wait. Because I feel like in All Out, the company becomes more than just like this like sort of supercard machine where they put out these, you know, random little pay-per-views every now and again. They become a company proper at All Out. Break One solo stuff? I haven't listened to a lot of it, honestly. I don't know if I'm listening to any of it. Another LimeWire, that'd actually be okay. I wouldn't mind that. So, that's mostly because it's like 100 degrees over here. So like a cooler shower is not that bad of a thing, especially when we've been outside for most of the day. So yeah, there's that. Yeah, TV Deal does start in October. That right there, like I feel like their first major hurdle was continuing to have success with their pay-per-views, which they have. Break One with Heaven and Hell from Metal Fury. Guess we're gonna listen to a little bit of Break One. Cool. PlayStation Railhead, I really I wouldn't expect it, for being honest. There's been no new videos for 3 months. Actually 3.5. Videos for the most part right now. I have some from leftover stuff on here, you know, the streams that I would want to make. I'm pretty much done with video format now. We'll have an announcement video though that will talk about a lot of things. But the second big hurdle for AEW is whenever they get on TV. Because if there's one thing I've learned about humans, there's one thing I've learned about people is that they will tell you over and over again until they're blue in the face that they're going to do something. Man, I'm going to watch your television show. I'm going to watch your videos. I'm going to buy your art. I'm going to hit you up at 7. I don't know. It's probably something that's happened. And then they don't do it. You know? So there can be a lot of folks that have verbal commitment in their minds whenever it comes to AEW. You know, they say that they're going to. They say that they are going to watch. And whenever the time comes, they may forget. The Stranded with Blackout Season up next. These are both from Water Blanc. It's a really big place for them to be. They really need to hope that that goes well. The new Baroness was very good. I liked it. Anyway, what the hell? Ew. Look at my floor. I feel like if AEW is able to not only score good ratings their first week, but that continues over the course of, say, a month or so, because usually what you see is that premiere episodes will always do really good numbers, and then it kind of like eases out. So if they're able to put on a product that week in, week out feels worth watching, that will really, really go and work to their advantage. And it has to be more than just what the diehard Uber fans want, you know? They have to do some things that are a little bit, you know, maybe unpopular. This is The Stranded. The album is entitled, or excuse me, not the album. The song is entitled Blackout Season. The album is actually entitled Survivalism Boulevard. A little bit of mellow death. So just like anything else, you know? Whenever you have like a hot television show or something like that, you'll notice that the ratings will not necessarily peak during their first episode and then go down, but usually if it's a show that has a lot of buzz around its premiere, that first episode will always do well. But it's with every show. With every show, there are folks that watch it and say to themselves, I don't know about this. And they maybe don't revisit it for a year or something. And I prefer McDonald's fries or Burger King's fries. I prefer McDonald's fries, but my ideal preference is just not eating any of them. But I'm not going to turn down food that was bought for me out of the kindness of someone's heart. I'm not an asshole, you know? But anyway, great example for AEW, which is different obviously because it's a weekly wrestling show as opposed to like a weekly drama. The show House, which is my favorite show of all time, I watched the premiere episode. It was on my television. I was counted as part of the demographic for its premiere, which had decent numbers. I did not revisit that show again until the tail end of season 2. I was down in college and I was watching it with a couple of my friends. And I thought to myself at that point, I don't think I've ever watched House. So I watched it and I really, really liked it. So I liked it to the point where we were watching it every single week. We were following it like real close. So at that point, I started collecting the DVDs because I really, really liked the show and I wanted to watch it from the beginning. And I will pop in the very first disc, very first episode, and I'm like, holy shit, I remember this. You know, I saw this whenever it premiered, like whenever it was on TV. And I followed it really for the rest of its run. I was obsessed. I loved it. I hope you guys are ready, because the Zeitgeist is here. The Zeitgeist is in town. Long live the Zeitgeist. Snowbolts with Bobbulin, the DJ Maurice remix. Everybody thank Waterblanc for the dance party that we're about to have. He gives us the gift that keeps on giving, the gift of the Zeitgeist. And actually, a secondary gift, a gift of an advertisement on YouTube that isn't by Grammarly. I ranked Suffocation's discography. I'd write down all the names of the albums, I'd listen to them, and then I'd put them in order. That's how I would do it. As far as actual ranking, that would take an actual I'd actually take an actual sit-down session because I don't think I have legitimately heard every Suffocation album under the sun. They put the emphasis on the T in TV, the tele. Not sure what that means, but okay. We'll go with that. It's... Back then, what I would do, and I don't do this any longer, I think that I've run out of attention span. I used to do things on the computer, usually like either gaming or maybe just like being on message boards or whatever. And if I didn't have music playing in the background on my boombox or in my headphones, I would have the TV on, and the TV in my room was off to my right back whenever I lived at home. It was off to my right, so I could easily just glance over there at it if I wanted to, or if I heard something that sort of attracted my attention. And I would just have something on there in the background. At one point, whenever I was in Studio 1.0 and we were doing some of the really, like the first big CKN reviews, some of those were being done with music. There was whatever I was doing on the computer, there was a television on over there. Like, I had tons going on at once, and somehow I was able to keep up with everything. So, I just don't have the attention span for that anymore. Now I need to focus like hell on what I'm doing. Like, I would say the only way that I can actually split my attention is if I'm listening to music and reading at the same time. Mostly because you're kind of doing that anyway whenever you're on the internet. Because usually if you're playing music in your headphones, you're not just sitting there static. You're not just sitting there by yourself and just listening. Ideally you should, but it's 2019. Who does that? These days, obviously, there's a lot more multitasking going on. I'm just getting old. I'm just getting old. Oh, and knitting. Yes. Wow, 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 wow. Blip. When you need something to listen to, just listen to the Zeitgeist. When you need somebody to help you out in a time of need, you listen to the Zeitgeist. And then you have Mike Anderson, who 10 minutes ago, and I didn't even get a notification for, I hope you're still in chat, my dude, for the $20, says, congrats CKN, for what I'm not sure. Love to hear some Torture Killer Forever Dead. The reason why it's not showing up down there is because I haven't, none of it happens automatically. That's on me, and I have not been doing it. I'm a very, very bad guy. I'm a bad person. I'm a bad man, so we'll have to do some quick calculations. Thank you very much, Mike. I appreciate that. I will get that in on the old queue, which the queue, by the way, is me looking at stuff and playing it. And like, there's no like automatic system. I'm a bad streamer. I suck at it. You Streamlabs? I could do that. I've thought about that. I still haven't done that. One of these days I'll do that. Maybe. I don't know. Adam works with the Brothers Thirsts. We're going to go with that, as it is actually next up whenever I'm looking at timestamps. That is coming up next. The next 3 tracks, in fact, were requested from Maru. So, just to let you know who to praise and who to wish was in love with you over the course of the next 3. Yeah, it is supposed to be a short stream. You're absolutely right. It's okay. We're down to like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 songs. There's a woman in Cradle of Filth? Yeah. There's been a woman in Cradle of Filth pretty much since the beginning. For a long time it was Sarah Jezebel Deva until like the middle part of the 2000s. And I have not exactly made it very silent to the fact that she is kind of a bitch. But that's just my experience. Which completely means that it is 100% true. The idea of building a cat tree ran into spacing issues because there's not a lot of space left in this apartment for something big. And I'd want that to be like a fairly decent size. I'd kind of do like an all-in-one entertainment center. But spatially speaking, that is just not feasible at the moment. There is a chance, and by chance I mean like 5%, like it's a super, super low chance. But there is a super low chance that we may eventually have to move. Things around here have gotten to be a little bit ridiculous, like a little too ridiculous even for my liking. Whenever it comes to the way things have been handled, big time miscommunications where our landlord has tried to get more money out of us than we actually owe. A lot of confusion. Folks are taking way too long in order to address repairs. There's just a lot going on. Any opinion on what happened with Absu after one of the members came out as transgender? I did not know that one of them came out as transgender, nor did I know that there was an afterword. What? Tell me what has happened, Drunk Flea. Please share with me this information. I wish to know so I can understand whom I can call stupid. By the way, spoiler alert, it will not be the person who came out as transgender. Hey Gamma, what's going on, my dude? Thanks again to Mike Anderson, I appreciate that for the 20. I did promise that we were going to get some statisticals over here. I might have to wait. I might have to do that. There might be a stream tomorrow. If I decide to not go down to the record store, then that may happen. That stream will probably happen, but if I do decide to go down to the record store, which I'm really leaning toward doing, just as something to do, considering it is so absurdly hot. Considering it's so absurdly hot. Like, I have this AC pounding in here, and I'm actually kind of comfy, but at the same time, I can't tell you how much of these four walls I've seen over the course of the past month. I'm kind of sick of them. I'm really kind of sick of them. Static Sense 5 more. Says, have some more, you fabulous man. Got to send my request over Discord again. Well, goddamn. Okay, fine. Static is slowly but surely just sending me his entire album. Like he's doing reverse Bandcamp. This is just insane. I kind of like this. This is just cray-cray. I don't know how much, again, like, one of the things that I'm not sure about I'm actually thinking, or trying to think about whether or not, whenever I was constructing the big gigantic Bible list from Century Media, if I even got everything available, like if everything was actually made available to me. Because what if North America and Europe had two different stores? Interesting. I might have been missing out on a whole big world of stuff. Weird. At this point, my drink is just leaking all over me. It's making me look like I'm peeing myself. Making me look like I'm peeing myself. Like I got no control over my bowels. Thanks again to Mike. Thanks to Static. Thanks to Metal Fury. Thanks to Maru, who has 2 more songs after this. Thanks to PlayStation Metalhead, also who wants to hear Pray for Plagues, the Infant Annihilator version. This, for whatever reason, unreleased Infant Annihilator track. Who knows? Maybe it's because maybe it's just that good. They're like, this is too good. If we release this, the world as we know it may change for the worse. Something might actually happen. Oh no! What are we going to do? How do we make this world a better place? This is just crazy stuff. And of course, as usual, some of like the craziest, like coolest sounding stuff. Only 205 views. I guess I shouldn't be too surprised though. So basically, Asu's Viscrom, now known as Melissa Moore, came out as transgender, and she revealed that the band split up due to her bandmate's transphobia. But she also said that it wasn't all to it. Okay, so that tells me that the people that I am to be kind of upset with are the remainders of Apsu. Because that's fucked up. I don't care who you are. I don't care who you are. If you're transphobic, if you can't get over that, you can't get over somebody's attempt to be happy, that's fucked up, man. That's fucked up and that's unacceptable. You know, and that's not, you know, well, let's hook on the old bandwagon. Yo, been on this wagon since 2004, 2003. You know, I don't mean to brag. A West Virginia Wesleyan Gay Straight Alliance alum. You know, I've been a supporter of this stuff for a long time. Okay. You know, I make jokes about the whole 56 genders thing or whatever it is. But at the end of the day, those who are realistically struggling through these things, that are going through all of this. Because it's not like you wake up one day and you make a choice. You know, the only choice that you're really making in this situation is when you're going to tell people, and you fear the reaction. You fear the response, you know? So, yeah. It's just... In many ways, transphobia is really ugly. You know, there's the obvious reasons why it is, but then there's just the underlying degree of how that snowballs. But again, very similarly to you can't control how a homeless person uses the $5,000 or $5,000 that you decide to give them. Sometimes you can't, or not really sometimes, really all the time, you can't control some of the real prejudices that some folks have. It's just a terrible thing. It's ugh. Prejudice is pretty much an ugly suit, no matter which way you slice it. But unfortunately, somebody is not going to maybe hear a rousing speech about why you shouldn't be prejudiced, and all of a sudden think to themselves, all of a sudden I really find black people to be great, or all of a sudden I think that gay people are wonderful. And my response to all those folks is that's not really what we're asking for. That's not really what anyone's asking for. They're just saying, hey, why don't you treat them like a human fucking being? Folks want to parody and make fun of folks that are using like words like cis and stuff like that. Stuff that I didn't understand for the longest time. I didn't get the lingo. I had to be explained to me numerous times, because every time that I was explaining to it for a while there, I just kind of forgot. Because usually I would get an explanation and then I wouldn't see the fucking word for like 2 weeks. And then I'd see it again and be like, I know this one. Shit, no I don't. Fuck, help. Because I'm old and stupid. And my brain doesn't work as well as it used to. Anyway. It's simple. If you don't prefer something, that's fine. But don't dehumanize people. Don't dehumanize people because of the way that they were made. I don't know how you disagree with somebody for being black. I don't know how you do that. Like, that just to me makes no sense. And I know that that's not the core of it. I know that's not how this begins. It's based off of very simple racial stereotyping. And then it's taken too far. And really, to add one final thing, that kind of level of prejudice is just kind of dumb in the first place, because you miss out on a lot. There's a good chance you miss out on a lot. You miss out on folks that could potentially be, all the folks that are anti-abortion want to say, well, you shouldn't abort that fetus. That fetus could be a doctor. That fetus could have cured cancer. They never tell you the other side, that fetus could have been a serial killer. That fetus could have ended up being the next version of Adolf Hitler, or, whatever. Then there's the other side, the more realistic side. That fetus is probably going to be in middle management. That fetus is going to work at McDonald's until they were 35 years old, and then finally shed their wings and become the assistant manager of a call center. That fetus is going to be a very mediocre animator that is going to somehow find success because they're really, really funny, and their art style proves to be influential. I know it's really, really mean of me to attack Matt Parker and Trey Stone like that. South Park is really, really funny and crudely animated, and that's the best part about it. Of course, it looks perfect now, but whatever. Soul Healer with Don't Shoot the Dancing Dwarf. But the point of all of this, conjecture is that they're saying don't do this because this person could be that. This person could be this great individual. This fetus could grow to be this amazing, sports figure, or, great in the medical field. They assume that everybody's going to progress this world into like some new stratosphere of greatness. Being prejudiced towards somebody is like aborting the opportunity to know really good people, establish connections, whether they be in the business world, whether they be personal. You never know who you might meet your husband or wife through. You never know who you might end up, just really being great friends with. You might end up helping you in a time of need whenever you're, all by yourself. Fucking love one another, you dipshits. Half of y'all claim to be Christian and don't even follow the goddamn freaking words in the Bible that say, love one another as I have loved you. Whatsoever you've done to the least of my people, that you have done unto me. Wake the fuck up, you bunch of retards. But of course, you know, having a bunch of tattoos, being gay, bad stuff. Best follow that to the letter from the book, from the good book. Follow that to the letter. But the most basic of concepts of respect and love, optional. Depends on who you are. Which I agree with that, because respect is earned, but at the same time, if you don't approach somebody with at least a little bit of respect the minute that you meet them, then what's the point? And that's my one rant of this short stream. Where have I been? I hid underneath my couch for a while and couldn't get out. When all his unwanted children didn't grow up, oh my gosh. Yeah, that's the same way of saying loathe everyone indiscriminately. That's all it really is. Oh boy. Did get a donation during my lovely stupidity. I call it stupidity because a lot of these are words that really shouldn't need to be spoken. You would hope, but we have entered into a new age where they need to be talked about again. 10 years ago even, we weren't talking about this all that carefully or with such conviction and power. It almost feels like we are putting the new back on an old song or an old track on a record that was long since past us, or at least had been past us enough where it was not a major component of the social conscious once again. You know, there's a lot of progress that was being made, and then all of a sudden, we all just collectively decided, like a bunch of idiots, regression sounds great. But Tornado of Souls by Megadeth. Hopefully Dave's battle is a short one. That's right. Thank you, Big Nick, by the way, for the 5. Dave Mustaine, of course, revealed during the time off here, the layover, that he has cancer. But he is extremely, he's been approaching the whole situation very positively. He says that, hey man, he's gone through battles before, he's got this, he's going to take it one day at a time, you know, and he's going to beat it. You mean white people decided this? The funny part about that is in many ways, like I'm trying to even search for a counter argument. I'm trying to search for a counter argument with that, and it just, maybe I don't have the resources or the tools to know where that counter argument exists. But yeah. Like, one thing that I've noticed is that some of the folks that are aiming to fight the battles of the supposed oppressed are not the people that are being oppressed, I guess. Like, it is something that has become, like, it became very fashionable there for a lot of white folks to, like, this, you know, distinguish themselves. I stand for this, I stand for that, blah, blah, blah. Like, looking at the past through, you know, the reflective lens as opposed to rose-tinted glasses or anything like that was a thing that was happening quite a bit. That was a thing that happened. Man. That was a thing that happened, and one more from Mar. Let's slowly transition ourselves away from this. I saw somewhere that said that 5 people left after I started talking like that. Oh well, they'll be fine. Just by the lake with Under the Red Light Shine. I'm excited for this one. I am excited for this one. Under the Red Light Shine. We, of course, earlier this year listened to Nightmare. and also Legacy Crown. So this one, again, I believe a little bit newer. Yeah, this is the official video I have here, which I know it's not being seen by any of us, really. They came back. Well, you know, they can come back with their friends. We have ourselves just a big old, you know, no hate clan rally. Just my new clan, the No Hate Clan, which I've already failed that clan, by the way, considering, you know, I've hated on albums for 10 years. But is that the same thing? Our clan, or our clans. That was about to be real bad. That was about to be real bad. Our albums people. How dare I say that? Of course they're people. Can't believe it. Treating albums as though they're subhuman. Ugh, unsubbed. Unsubbed, unfollowed, undinged that little bell for notifications. Oh my gosh, that's really funny. Our clans people. I don't know. It's like saying our church's businesses. The answer is yes. In the eyes of many, the answer is actually no, because they don't pay taxes. And I get a lot of businesses pay taxes as well, but you know, what are they gonna do? It's been a while since I've talked about this stuff, man. It's been a while since I've gotten fired up about that. It's been coming though for a long time. I'll tell you. Kind of get sick and tired of seeing all this stuff. If I didn't have that, and I've said this numerous times, if I didn't have that Facebook page over on for coverkillernation, I'd probably be off Facebook. People I gave a shit about, I just give them all the phone number. If they called me, great. If they didn't, then well, fuck them too. Did I just read Das Kapital? No. I've actually not done a great amount of reading this year by comparison to last year and some of the years past. It's not without lack of material. What sometimes happens is that I will start a novel and it will kind of lose my interest a little bit. And it unfortunately happened to me a little bit earlier this year, and returning to it becomes very difficult, but I don't want to start something else because then I'm crossing story patterns. Eventually, I just did that. Like, I love the hell out of Stephen Kuntz as an author, but shoot, I forget the name of the book I was in. See, this is how bad it was. I forget the name of the book I was even reading from. It was one of his earlier ones. It was one of his earlier books, the early Jake Grafton stuff, and it just didn't keep my attention at all. Like, it was a bit of a dullard of a, like, he dropped a little bit of a bomb. I think it's called The Red Horse. No, it wasn't. I think it was Flight of the Intruders, in fact. Oh, Racist Space Orchestra, that cacophony is one of the things that makes them really succinct and very noticeable. Like, you can listen to their stuff, and once you know who they are, you can pretty much pick it out, which is neat. Well, that's the thing. This was actually a pretty smaller one of his books. I want to say maybe it was $3.50 at the max. See, I've been listening to so much Arcturus. After every single song, the very first thing that's being recommended to me and is nearly starting is an Arcturus track. Like, after that, I immediately tried to switch over to Ad Astra off of La Masquerade Infernale, which is an awesome song that I happened to listen to last night along with others from both La Masquerade as well as the Sham Mirrors. Later on tonight, I'll probably get into some latter era stuff, which there's not much more for me to listen to. There's Arcturian and the other one. Yeah, the other one. The one directly after the Shamirs, which name is just poof, went bye-byes. Like I said, it happens. It happens to me, man. Too much shit up there. Too much crap up there in the old mental nugget. Hey, let's get to some Burzum. You really want to talk politics? Let's listen to some Burzum. See, that's the thing. I don't hate any single person of y'all. If you happen to have a different opinion than mine, that's cool. That's whatever. My opinions are kind of strong at times, but I am not above or below having the ability to talk with you guys. If you can't talk with me, though, that's a problem. And, of course, last year around this time, somebody decided that they didn't want to talk to me about an opinion. Anyway, here's Key to the Gate by Burzum. And lost a friend of 20 years, all based around a very, very simple suggestion. Path and their album Songs of Death. Man, I feel like that is... without looking at my list, I'm going to say that I didn't get a chance to hear it. But, God, that sounds really fucking familiar. You've been reading or listening to a lot of books during the summer. It's due to a lack of social life. Yeah, not having a social life can help with that. Definitely gives you a lot more chance to read. I like to read late at night. Like I'm a real like a nighttime reader. One of my lone differences with that was last year whenever I was listening to the Maestric album, which ended up on the Album of the Year list. For whatever reason, I decided I was going to read some Gabriel Garcia Marquez. I had to think of the name in the proper order because, again, brain equals stupid. And that actually became a thing where I enjoyed Chronicles of a Death Foretold so much that I got through 2 albums within that. Russian Atmospheric Black Note. Again, that sounds familiar. But again, for me to recall everything that I've listened to would be a bit amazing, honestly. Like, man, like my brain apparently has all the like necessary St. John's wort or whatever the hell other vitamins and minerals you need for that. I realized while I was sick that there's a good reason why I probably wasn't getting well very fast. I thought I was getting plenty of vitamin C. Nope. This doesn't have vitamin C in it. Oh, y'all are probably like, well, yeah, no duh, dumb shit. But for me, it was like, because I'm a retard. And I don't mean that I am mentally retarded or special needs. I mean, I am literally the purgative retarded. That stuff is called a heart attack in a can. It's all vitamin B. I got tons of vitamin B with everything, and now I get a ton of vitamin C. I get vitamin D because I drink almond milk. I love the shit out of almond milk, man. Oh, man. Quick little sidebar. If you've ever seen like those long fig bars that maybe Little Debbie makes or something like that, of course that's no nutritional value to that either. I mean, it's just a snack that is no doubt manufactured. Dunking that in almond milk rules. It's amazing. It's an absolutely amazing experience. Yeah, I've never been able to kick the monster. It's alright. Speaking of that face-app aging thing, did anybody see the meme of Clint Eastwood being put into the face-app engine and then just being put back? You know, just being put through it again and again and again, like with every subsequent result. Like by the end of it, his face just looked like a big, ginormous, like, wrinkle cloud. Maybe an album cover for, like, something very, very scary. I don't know, like that almost seems like it'd be something that anal cunt would be all into. Like they would just put a bunch of people through the face app like 10 times or 17 times, and then they would just, you know, crop them into an album cover. That might be the grand idea right there. You want a new Sgt. Pepper's Lonely Hearts Club Band? There you go. I may have just given you a free idea, as I tend to do. I'm great with free ideas. Flub Love. Hey, it's time for Fuck Love by All That Remains. Hey Eric, it has been a while. I am existing. I am walking, talking, breathing, listening, speaking, smelling, seeing, touching. But got a couple tracks left, and then we are going to probably take our leave for the evening, considering this was meant to be a short stream. I say there's a couple tracks left. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 in total. Hey, take care, Drunk Flea. Have yourself a good one. Thanks, brother, for stopping by. I appreciate it. Like I said, we may be streaming tomorrow. I just want to repeat that fact for those who did not hear it earlier. We might be streaming tomorrow. It depends on whether or not I decide to take a little bit of a journey to see if I can't find a couple things on this big-ass freaking list. I'm telling you what. If I do, I would be a surprised motherfucker, considering, you know, a lot of the stuff that is on these lists. I mean, you're not just gonna walk into a conventional chain store and find it. You're really not going to. It's chances are not very high. Chances are not very high. So, you know, it becomes a guessing game of whether or not it's worth it. But you guess what? Wayne Gretzky once famously said, actually I thought he actually had said there, change the track, asshole. That was not Wayne Gretzky. That was, I'm pretty sure that was Billy Gretzky, who was a junior in high school back in 1984. But Wayne Gretzky famously said that you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So might as well go down and scope it out. If I end up being down there for just an hour, then we'll probably have a stream. If I'm down there for multiple hours, then the stream will probably have to come this week. I'm hoping to have an announcement video out for you guys and for the rest of the nation sometime within the next 7 days, discussing where we are going from here, considering there hasn't been a new video in 3.5 months. And aside from those that have been requested and have been funded through various events from the past. I don't see many videos coming in the future. We'll probably talk about the new Slipknot and Tool albums, perhaps. That is kind of a we'll see what happens. Reviews will probably be to the minimum. They'll be the minimum because, unfortunately, I just don't like the format anymore. I don't like my own stuff anymore. I'm just kind of fed up with that whole side of things. I'm fed up with it so much. I need to get that sort of spark back. And in years past, whenever I've lost that, that has tended to return to me very quickly, whether by necessity or just by, one thing really bringing out that energy. The only other reason why I was logging stuff on Discogs, it wasn't just because I was bored, it wasn't just because I was sick, it was because I was kind of hoping it would, cause that spark. Looking at all this music, thinking about all this music, give me that spark. Doing this log of all of the things that were part of those Bible order posts, was hoping for the same thing. Didn't happen. In fact, if anything, it made me long a lot more to get albums from the past, as opposed to hyper-focusing so very, very much on the present. Anyway, up next, we have Mortician with Necro Cannibal. Elder is making a new album. Elder actually just released they just released something about a week ago. Not a new album, mind you. It's just like a sessions type deal. There's only 2 tracks on it. It's actually going for like $30 on Discogs. I think it's called like the Silver and Gold Sessions or something like that. I wouldn't mind like owning it, but yeah, I can't really justify that cost at the moment. Here's Necro Cannibal by Mortician. By the way, you'll probably hear me talk about this Bible post, the Bible album purchase list. If you are curious genuinely about what all was on those lists, 1,179 titles worth. 1,179 titles worth. You can buy. Going right there. No, that would not be a rest in peace gamma, because that would have to be done. If videos are made, the videos I have absolutely on my you gotta make these lists are the ones that were paid for. So, Arion Rankamal would not be rest in peace. Arion Rankamal would be one that was made, as well as Static's album. Both of them now would both be reviewable. So. Yeah, the thing of it is that I would still like to own the record. I'd still like to have it. I actually have no Elder on vinyl. All of the Elder stuff that I have, which is like one thing, and it's not the album that you think it is. Sadly, it's on CD. It would be really, really cool to have one, if not multiple, of the albums on vinyl. Despite the fact that I really don't listen to vinyl all that much anymore, I think they still just stick with CD. I have thought about some ideas for cat videos, but again, like, one thing that I've never gotten the opportunity to do, principally because of the setup, like, most of the ideas I have would involve me having a cat room. And again, it'd be really, really cool to get out of here, have the space for the tree that we were talking about, and then just leave a couple like little cameras around and see what kind of footage we get. See what kind of footage I get or that we get, or even just like little videos that Miss Faye takes videos of them all the time. Like them just doing silly little things or whatever, and half of them. If you're expecting like funny compilations, you wouldn't be getting them. It would all just be, look at these cats, they're cute. That's it. Look at them, they're cute. Maybe they're doing something unique. Makes us laugh because we know the context, or You know, there's no real storytelling to it. It would have been much better if we, well, actually, they're still pretty active. The three little ones are still really active, although they're not little anymore. Cornell's freaking huge. Blazy is tiny, but has still the biggest spirit and the biggest attitude. And Amber has become the sweetest cuddle bug ever. That also, I think, is slowly but surely trying to eat me. A tree hanging from the ceiling. Oh my lord. Oh, you're trying to get a table at Fairfax Comic-Con? Are you, what do you sell? I'm assuming that's why you're getting a table? What are you selling? Because I know that there's sales tables and stuff, that takes up some real money. That's a big gamble. It's a big gamble half the time. Because you know exactly what you have to cover just to make a profit. Oh, you're an author and an artist. Oh, okay. I see. Decent summer? Ugh. I've definitely had better summers. I've definitely had worse summers, though. So, yeah. Decent's a good word. Well, I wish you the best of luck, Eric, man. I appreciate somebody who is taking that kind of leap with their ware, trying to sell their craft and, you know, really be creative and want the people to see it and want the people to love it. This, by the way, is Raekwon with Heaven and Hell. This was requested by Metal Fury. It's going to seem a little bit different than everything we've heard thus far. But yeah, I've been told for a number of years, and I've especially had like one or two like Verdant supporters, that I need to just sit down, focus, and write a book. You know, there are those that have said that after a really snarky post or something like that. You can't base a book off of a snarky 3 paragraphs, you know. But some folks feel like that's how easy it is, I guess, or they hope it's that easy. They would like for the whole book to be just that. But I've had one that was very, very consistently trying to encourage me, and I just balked on it. I have 6 different ideas, but at the same time, I should just write the most incomprehensible freaking mess of a book and just release it and see what happens. I probably know what will happen. Nothing good. I will sell 5 whole copies, and but yeah. No, it's definitely not easy. It is definitely not easy. Oh boy. Yeah, you're about to take a huge plunge. Best of luck to you. Man, best of luck to you, Eric. Again, like we live really in an age where it is really difficult to make a great living off of the arts. But yet, one thing that does encourage me so very much is that we are living in an age where there are a ton of talented young artists out there, whether it be in actual painting, drawing, animation. We have a lot of talented folks out there in the video game departments that are doing awesome sprite work or are concocting fantastic stories, terrific writers. Despite what we see commercially, there is definitely a sequelitis in commercial culture. There's a lot of the same ideas being recycled different ways, or like with a different cast, which is very much very akin to sequelitis. Nothing feels original anymore, but yet there are so many truly original and unique voices that are out there that are not getting, they're not getting the Stephen King treatment. I don't think anyone's ever going to get the Stephen King treatment. And if somebody is able to follow him up and truly become the new king or queen of horror, then the shoes that they will be filling will be mighty large, I must say. submitted. I personally hope that it is a woman. I would like to see a fresh perspective on the horror genre be recognized very, very largely. I don't have anybody in mind who could actually do it, but that's just more so a selfish dream than anything like that, or anything else, I should say. Hi, Justin. How you doing, my friend? I appreciate it. Hey, enjoy England Gamma. Ooh, Maru, do tell. Do tell. But yes, so many unique voices that exist out there, but they all exist in the underground, principally because the way in which the commercial side of everything has gone, there's a lot of folks that aren't willing to take a risk unless they have a sustainable, huge kind of buzz around them. Either that, or if they do take a risk, the sort of the rope that they give you doesn't seem like it's very long, or you know, it's not like a book that ends up being popular puts one of these smaller publishing companies on the map. You know, there's not like a multiple benefit that actually causes, you know, great things for multiple businesses. You know, because technically as a writer, that's your business. You know, your publisher is a business. Distribution, it's a business. You know, if you're doing all that yourself, I mean, you'll wear yourself out just trying to do that all yourself, but I give you the best. Yep, that's right. The Big Five will only buy books that they think will sell. Waste of paper. Oh, there have been a couple wastes of paper in my life. One of them might be my birth certificate. No, I'm kidding. Lol. One will be my death certificate because I won't die. Anyway, Pray for Plagues by Bring Me the Horizon, but it's being done by Infant Annihilator. If you're wondering, this is not really a new song. It's a cover. So enjoy yourself with this one. Infant Annihilator. And working a full-time job? Oh man. And my friend, you have... The amount of respect I have for folks that are able to do that is absurd, because, I mean, I used to do the full-time work and then also do CKN, which of course makes the last couple of years where there's not been a lot of, you know, as much material seem like I'm super duper lazy. But, man, do that for as long as you can. That's all I can say. As long as you have that energy, as long as you have that drive, man, just don't look back. Don't let anybody tell you not to do it. Don't let anybody tell you you're stupid for doing it. You just keep doing you. Yo. Waterblanc, I am in that same boat. I too need his diligence. But again, if you really love the stuff that you're doing, you know, in the 9 to 5, you may not love it. You know, that might not be but if it's, you know, paying your bills, helping you with the dream, then the 9 to 5 is a means to an end. It's something that has a purpose. Pants drunk? So, is it suggesting that you no longer drink the alcohol, you just spill it on your pants? Because that seems like it's a waste of good pants. Like, why don't we just get drunk and then, like, I guess if they really want us to do that, we could, like, take our pants off and, like, put it on the seat. You know, put it on an actual seat. And then, like, offer them a drink. What if your pants don't drink? Like, what if your pants are, like, fiercely straight edge? What if you have yourself some straight edge pants? They don't drink, they don't do drugs, they don't smoke, they just put a bunch of X's on everything. He once wrote nearly 65,000 words worth of a novel, but you've never ever finished it. Man, it's like looking in the mirror sometimes. It's like looking in the mirror sometimes. 54 pages worth of one, and then just ran out of steam. Still knew where I wanted to go with the idea. I remember it, but if I were to redo it now, I wouldn't. I'd probably give it a total plot makeover because it was kind of Echoes of Olympus Mons. Oh, I like that title a lot. I'm a sucker for a good title. I'm also a sucker for a ridiculous story. And I was at Goodwill the other day. Or maybe it was Salvation Army. I forget which of the thrift stores that it was, but it was a thrift store. And I wish I remember the name of the author. Yeah, I wish I remember the name. I'd like the key data, I don't remember, but I remember parts of this plot because this plot was ludicrous. It was a book all about colonies of the Earth now being on Mars, and also on Mars happens to be the figureheads of Greek mythology. There's a huge war between the Greeks, the Greek mythology, and I think the Romans. Meanwhile, there's humans that are there that are causing problems, but the humans also have activated giant robots that are like some form of guardians of Mars, and they're going nuts. And then there's also aliens for some stupid reason, and nobody quite understands why. One guy's like at the center of it. I'm reading the back of this novel. I'm like, what the? I have no clue what to think about this. Like, there is so many things going on right now just on this back cover alone. I don't know if my brain could follow all of this without tapping out as though I'm taking, the STFU or something like that. I don't know, like, what the fuck? Like, it was like this dude whoever wrote this book just got a bunch of ideas. Wrote a bunch of silly, like, little ideas, or like legitimate ideas, like plot points or pieces, and put them in a big old bowl. And for whatever reason, he put milk in the bowl and scooped them around, and then, like he was eating cereal, he just, got in there with a spoon, dug out a couple of them, and opened them up and said, okay, Greek mythology, robots, aliens, Mars, and he was like, I got it. That's what my next book's going to be. And it sounds awesome. That's the thing. Like, I'm so upset that I didn't spend the, like, $1.05 or, like, 69 cents, whatever it was, to buy this book. But for whatever reason that day, I just thought to myself, I will buy this and I won't touch it for 2 years. And then whenever I look at it, I'll be like, well, why did you buy this, you dingus? This sounds absurd. There's a lot going on. Ay, ay, ay. Yeah, that's true. I did see on Amazon the other day that you can do that. I would imagine that they take a hearty cut from it. I would imagine that was true. I need to roll over to Mike Anderson, Forever Dead by Torture Killer. As we are heading toward our finale, folks. We are going to be finished up for the day very shortly. Short stream, right? We have 2 tracks after this, and that's going to do it for the day. Yeah, I would actually like a link to the listing. Oh, wait. Yeah, you can't post links. I forgot. Derp, I'm dumb. I am a smart boy. Yeah, we still need to hop over to Twitch. That way we can have filthy casuals, and then have you know, base subs. The link to the link. Is it just under that name? Is it just under your full name there? Or do you have a pen name? Okay. I'm going to do just a basic search. It's going to take a little while, I think it looks like. For some strange reason, Grand Blue Fantasy came up. Are you into the anime? There are 3 that are available over here. You can actually scope that out. You can scope out the link that I just popped in. No, this isn't the last song. There's 2 more. We have one from Static and one from Big Nick to close us out. In fact, we're going to be closing out with Tornado of Souls by Megadeth, which has me freaking hype. Because, for one, of course, we know that Dave has cancer. But also, man, I haven't actually listened to Rust in Peace, which is my favorite album of all time, in quite some time. Search is showing the print version of Echoes is that bad. Don't get the anthology yet. I'm working on a new edition. Okay. So I'm planning on some stream event Friday of next week. You won't be able to attend said stream. I don't believe I'm planning on doing anything next Friday, stream-wise. If I were to stream next week, which I'm actually leaning more toward, because I feel like rushing home tomorrow is just not a good idea. So we'll schedule the stream officially for next Wednesday. So next Wednesday will be our next stream. That one will be a little bit more official. That one will probably start a little bit earlier. And hopefully that one will go a little bit longer. Despite the fact that this one has gone on for 2 hours. You know, cool. Wasn't the plan, wasn't the plot, but that's how life works out sometimes. That's just what happens. Oh, that's true, yeah. They are on the same tab. There's so many different options out there. death. Forever death. Forever death. Forever dead. Awesome track right there, Forever Dead by Torture Killer. Totally forgot about them for a while. Well, that sounded familiar, that little part there in the beginning. That sounded like something from some gaming. This is Static Syndrome. This is Static Syndrome right now with Psychotic Never-Ending Death Chasm. Gamma Ranger, Gabba Babba Dabba Dabba. Delay is back. Well, I thank you in advance there, Gamma. Gamma dropping the 6. The Knife by Ghost Brigade. Fantastic band. Fantastic stuff. That'll be an apt way to finish things up. Things should be okay now. Things should be okay now. I still have French fries. Oh yeah. I still go with Still Life over Blackwater Park. I think the weirdest part about it is the fact that they're both like 100 out of 100 albums. You know, they're both 30 out of 30s or whatever. What the hell? Stream was on whenever YouTube was like, it's off. You know, after they've been here for like a couple hours, now it's where I start to get really rubbery. That was weird. Shouldn't have happened. Never turn off for you? I even saw on my side over here, after you guys started talking about it, that the stream had completed. So that's a weird, like, client-side problem there. It shouldn't, though, considering on OBS it said the stream was active and working. Okay, whatever. Taken care of now. I heard about the tragedy that happened over at Coyote Studios. Yeah, I did, unfortunately. Sad thing, sad thing. So much of our world these days seems to be filled with sadness, does it not? So many people that seem to be willing to do these things. Also. And arsonists burnt down the studios. Which imagine all the stuff that was maybe in development. This is from Static Syndrome, who's in the chat right now. This is from his project, which is also entitled Static Syndrome. The song is entitled Psychotic Never-Ending Death Chasm. As he continues down the avant-garde trajectory. The reason why people do things is for more than just attention, man. Some of them just sick puppies, man. Like that one beheading that happened last week. That's a sick fucking puppy right there. No matter how you look at it. No matter which way you look at it. Whether or not somebody had caused some, done some things in the past. That's some weird shit. Yeah. That is a big industry. That is a big industry over there. And of course, it's made even bigger considering how much of it has become very Americanized and sort of is loved by the world. Oh, Mario, probably a little bit of both, if I'm being honest. Again, during the daytime, they're not usually all that active. They're probably bothering Faith right now for food. Bothering her for dry food. So whenever I get up in the morning, that's whenever I feed them. I feed them both wet and a little bit of dry. So I give them a little bit of everything. That usually lasts them till about this point in the day. And then they like to have a little bit of dry food for the remainder of the day and night. With there being 7 of them, you would think that there would be a lot that was needed. But they are surprisingly really, I don't want to say picky about their food, but they can't even think of the word right now. They portion their food very well. They ration it well. You like to think you have good taste, but then you catch yourself listening to the Bee Gees? The Bee Gees are awesome. You still have good taste. I don't know what... What? 2 more tracks. We have Tornado of Souls coming up from Megadeth next. That's a pretty awesome track right there from Stag. We've had 2 really, really cool songs off of Static's new projecto, new album. Oh God! And then meanwhile, I've over here just nearly throwing up McDonald's fries. Bee Gees are freaking sick. Also, one thing that you'll find on my Discogs is an Andy Gibb record. That was not something I inherited. That was something I wanted. It was a present that I wanted. So, yeah. I don't know. I've always had like this weird love for the Bee Gees and for Andy Gibb, and a number of years back it became even bigger and greater. Whenever I worked at a music store, I worked at FYE. If you're American and know the chain, my manager and I both popped in the greatest hits of the Bee Gees, which was another edition of it. There's been 1,001 greatest hits for the band, just like there's been a great, 1001 greatest hits for ABBA and groups like that. There's a new one that came out, I want to say like an 11 or 12. Maybe it was even 13, and probably 13 at the latest. And we just played the hell out of that, man. My manager and I, we loved it. It was great. ABBA metal. ABBA, blah, 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 blah. See, I can't say very much about pirating because whenever I was a poor college kid, before these lists even came out that I have over here, oh boy, someone get me a peg leg and a good old-fashioned cap and hook because, oh boy, ooh, Nelly, I need the pirate right here, lots of it. I have a hard drive that is over here that is not working currently. Unfortunately, one of the ports, it's unfortunately not the USB port. If it was the USB port, then that'd be easy to replace. But it's actually the port that goes into the hard drive itself. Because this is one of those old school, like, not everything is just basic easy peasy, USB to USB. This had like its own backing port to it that was unique to it. That is not remaining plugged in as it should. And it's been that way for a couple years, so I may or may not have in fact lost practically a terabyte worth of music. And for whatever reason, I not sweat it. I don't really sweat it all that much. I'm more so curious about the other stuff that was on there because I know that I had other storage that I utilized that for. I think I had a lot of like old school photos and stuff from whenever I was in my like latter years of college and some of the first couple of years after that. I think there was actually a shitload of old CKN videos on there too. Like, I actually think there's a lot of stuff on there that isn't music. That'd be kind of interesting to see what all that is. Kind of go through it. But as of this moment, oh, what are you gonna do? What you gonna do? If that stuff's gone forever, then it's gone forever. Sometimes you just have to be willing to accept that. And to be honest, if it is and it happened like now, better it happened now than back whenever I was like obsessed with that hard drive. That hard drive was like my life. Yeah, that would have been very, very, very bad if it happened back then. I would have probably collapsed, cried, and threatened to kill myself. Okay, the third one's a little too extreme. Wouldn't have done that. I'd have been a sad boy though. I'd have been the king of the sad boys before sad boys were even a thing, okay? I mean, y'all say that sad boys were a thing like always, but no. Y'all just invented sad boys a couple years ago. You're just trying to make people retroactively the king of sad boys? Fuck you. Alright folks, we're going to be out of here for today. We have one final track to go, and that was submitted to us thanks to the wonderful donation of your boy and mine, Gamma Angel. And yeah, you better believe that it's a good one. It's the knife from Ghost Brigade. That's going to finish us off. Came in with the 9th inning donation to drop this one on our asses, and we are thankful that he did so. Because our asses, we did not realize that we needed more for our asses. thanks to everybody that decided to click on the little link that said, hey, I actually hit the start streaming button. I do appreciate that. So I'm emo, basically. You got it, dude. I'm the king of emos. I am the king of sad boy emos. I walk up to girls and I raw XD. And if they tee-hee, then I know that I'm in. And that's whenever we do our hardcore dances and do one another's hair. We tug on the skinny jeans, and whenever she tugs on my skinny jeans, then my balls start to, collapse a little bit because there's no room. There's no ballroom. I can't actually sit down anywhere because if I sit down, I'll actually just sit right on both of my nuts and they'll just explode. After this, it is indeed lights out. Party's over. Next stream will be on Wednesday. We're going to make that official, set that in stone. Unless, of course, there is anything that changes. But that I will make very known to all. Again, thanks to everybody once again. Crazy day, warm day, and I'm going to do something just as stupid actually. After we sign off, I'm going to go on my back porch and sit outside because I'm a bona fide idiot. I'm a bona fide idiot. A boner fide idiot. Boy, boy. The whole emo bit just about killed me. Mostly because, true story, I have worn a pair of skinny jeans once. At the request of somebody who I was somewhat dating at that time. I think I was dating her at that point. I don't know. I don't remember. It was 11 years ago. That's a long time ago. Yeah, needless to say, regardless to her swooning, those pants did not get bought. Because, believe it or not, I like to feel my balls and my dick. And to a lesser extent, I kind of enjoy there being a cushion between my ass and the fabric of whatever I'm sitting on. Not the pants, but whatever the fuck I'm sitting on. You live on the other side of the planet. Well, you're here tonight. So, come back at the same time as right now on Wednesday, and there's a good chance I'll be here. Seriously, that's about all I can help you with right now. You can also wear youth sizes. Oh, that's right, because you a skinny tinny bitch. You a skinny tinny bitch. Skinny tinny black metal dissection loving bitch. I love dissection too, so I'm a bitch too. We the best bitches. Yas, queen, slay. All those other words. Some of those things, yes. You're not a bitch? We both bitches, you and I are. You know it. You love it. Lit, that's right. Lit fam, I forgot about that. Oh, I haven't given everybody a good old-fashioned yeet yet. Yeet yet. Blech. Right as you say that. I'm actually a fan of yeet, I don't mind it. I like yeet because it sounds made up, and I used to make up words with my friends when we were in high school. So you know what? If anything, I should hate it because why does their words get to be all part of popular culture or streamer culture or whatever, and yet I can't call somebody a dickmo or a freaking spacmac without people thinking that I'm offending someone. But you know what? I'm not like that. I'm not like that. Instead, I embrace yeet. So, I'll see y'all later. I'm about to freaking toss my ass somewhere that isn't the stream. Thanks again.